Welcome back to the Microsoft official course 20742, which is Identity with Microsoft Server 2016. So today we're actually just going to set the lab up. Okay, well, I'm going to show you. This is a bit of a bonus content here, but I'll show you how to set up the lab and in particular how to set up Hyper-V, where to get the images that you can download and use, and set your own lab and do this legitimately and free, which is great. It might not be possible on your systems, but we'll go through that a little bit by bit. So let me go and I'll show you. Okay, so this is my desktop, right? Now, if you've got Windows Professional Edition, Windows 10 Professional Edition or Windows 11 Professional Edition and above, then you're entitled to use Hyper-V for free. You don't have to pay for it. You can download, if you wanted to, a copy of VirtualBox, which is free as well, or you could pay like through VMware or something like that. Now, the way to enable Hyper-V, if you've got Windows 10 Professional and above, is you search for it. You go you can right-click and search, for example, or search. And what we're looking for is add features. Turn Windows features on or off. A little box will pop up here. Let me just, I've got a zoom it tool. See if we can zoom in a bit. There we go. And you'll notice Hyper-V is already ticked. I've already selected that. So that's how you enable Hyper-V on your Windows 10 Professional and above machine. If you've got Windows Home, you will need to upgrade to be able to use Hyper-V. Most modern day systems have virtualization support already. You might need to go into your BIOS settings. And when I say BIOS, I mean that as a generic term. Yeah. You'll need to enable virtualization for this to work. Okay, sometimes you might be using your Windows 10 machines or Windows 11 machines, and you never needed to set virtualization up. You will need to in this situation. So you select that, and you might need to install, restart, etc. So that's the first stage. You will then need to go to Microsoft's web page to actually find the source. Now, I find it, for me personally, easier just to search on Google for it. We'll be working with Windows 2016 machines. So Windows 2016, I've already typed this before ahead of time. We'll need to go to the Windows 10 Evaluation Center because we want to download a copy of Windows 10 Enterprise. Okay, we want to test a few things out. We want to log in as a regular user into the Active Directory. So we'll download one of those. Then I'm going to open another Google search. I'm going to write Windows 2016 Evaluation Center. So you can see that I've already searched for this. Click on that. Click on the Windows 10. Okay. So you can download 2016, 19, 22, and a few other things here. You will get 180 days to evaluate, which I personally think, this is an opinion of mine, that's excellent value. So when you're learning and training, that's brilliant. That is fantastic. You select Azure, so just down here. Select Azure there. Okay, and you download it. So there are other options there, and you can, under different circumstances, you can use that, no problems. But in our classes, I'd like you to download the ISO version of this. So that's Windows 2016. If you're really into this, you can download Windows 22, Windows 19, and other, even Windows 12 R2 if you want to. Interesting if you're like me and you want to build like a real proper real life lab, then you can get on very, very cheap second-hand blade servers. They're like really big, heavy PC or computers, not PCs, that run servers in production environments. You can then use Hyper-V Server 2016. That is the hypervisor to that. Again, over here on this side, we want to download a copy of Windows 2010, and I can't see it here, so we'll have to go back and see if we can find, maybe click on another link to get there. There we go, Windows 10. There's Windows 11 Enterprise 2, and that's pretty cool. Only 90 days on this scenario though. Now, for those who have got like powerful machines and you really want to get into this Microsoft server infrastructure domain, you want to become real experts, I would recommend that you have a look at the Windows 10 and Office 365 deployment kit. And what you're doing is you're downloading a lab that's already been created, and that will be able to link to Office 365 lab, which is a modern day cloud. This is what I have done for my training, for my upskilling. As we move to the hybrid environment, we're always trying to learn and upgrade our skills. It is a massive download, and you need at least 32 gigs of RAM. There are ways, little shortcuts to get around that, but yeah, this is huge. It's just a little bit of something that I wanted to share. All right, so now I've downloaded these. There's a few questions you have to ask. You don't have to. You can go do that in your own time. They just ask you like your email address and where you're working, and it's up to you how you want to answer that. But once you've downloaded those ISOs, and I'll talk to you about an ISO very shortly, we'll go and just pretty much search for Hyper-V. Okay. Enter, and I get my Hyper-V manager. Get used to this screen, because when we're using Hyper-V manager in a small to medium-sized environment, you'll be in here quite often. Okay, so I don't have anything here at the moment. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start the very first virtual machine. I'll do a Windows 2016 and a Windows 10 at the beginning. So I'm going to rush through it because this lesson is just an introduction to Hyper-V ISOs. Then our first official module, which is module 1, we're going to do it again. We're going to install Windows 2016 with Active Directory. And but this module is we've just downloaded an ISO. We'll talk about ISOs. We're talking about Hyper-V, and we'll install our first machine, first virtual machine, so that you can do this yourself when the time comes. First thing to do is just right click. I've got a little my computer name. That's my computer name there. So I'll go to New Virtual Machine. Okay. Just go through this. The name is important for us to know what we're working with. So I'm just going to write Windows 2016 just because. No particular reason. But if I was going to if I was doing an Active Directory, then I'd give it something meaningful. I'd call it Windows Directory Controller. A domain controller, if I wanted to. But I'm just going to just simply call it Windows 2016. I'm going to store my virtual machine in another place because I like to have everything organized. I like to have my everything in its own place. I've built a PC with different hard drives. The one I want to put it on is an SSD because I like to make it quick and fast. Don't stress too much because it's still going to work fine on your laptops or your machines for now. As long as you've got like 16 gigs of RAM, you should be okay. If you have less than that, this might be a little bit of a struggle. It can be done, but it's going to be tough. So I'm going to put it into my little ISO folder. I'm going to create a new folder called MOC Lab, and I'll just select that. So I'm just selecting where my virtual machine is going to be stored, the actual file, because it can get pretty large. choose generation 2 for our labs. Generation 1 in production environments is what you'd want to be going with. But for the labs, my advice for you is to use generation 2. It's an older system, but we're not going to have, let me take that back. Let's stick with generation 1. Generation 2 is the one that we will want to use in a production environment. We just want to get these labs up and running. We just want them to work, and we don't want too much of the other options for now. As you become really good at virtualization and Windows, and you'll become really confident, then you can choose generation 2. But generation 2 does get a little bit messy for those who don't have that much experience. So go for generation 1. Click next. If you have only 8 gigs of RAM, then use a startup memory of 1 gig. And you can use dynamic memory, so you don't have to use all of that. But in my opinion, if you can, go up to 4 gigs of RAM. The more, the better. The higher RAM that you can dedicate to your virtualized machine, the better performance, more reliability. Again, this is dynamic memory, which means that it's not going to use all of that. It might only use 1 gig, 1.5 gig. Just depends on what load you've got on it. Go to next. With the networking, it's a bit tricky here. What you want to do is set up a sort of like a private LAN, and what that means is that you want to isolate this so that it doesn't, because there's a possibility that the network that your laptop is a part of could potentially be shared with the virtual machine. And if you're running a DHCP server, that server can take over the DHCP role at home or at work. So my advice is to use something like a LAN private switch. Now, I've or maybe even like an internal LAN switch. If you're not too sure what this kind of means, this is something that you should look into and do a little bit of investigation. Again, if you need any help with that, let me know. I'm trying to keep these episodes within 20 minutes, so I could spend 20 minutes just talking about this. But if you need help, if you need some advice on how to set something like this up, please let me know. I'm here. I can help you. So I'm going to put in like a little private switch because I don't want it messing around with my network where I'm recording this. That's the actual file for the virtual machine. It's going to be VHDX. Don't go less than 40 gigabytes hard drive. Anything less than that, and you might have some issues. Now I'm going to continue on. The location of it, I'm going to put it into that other location that I set up before, which is then MOC lab. So select that folder. So that's where my VHDX. This is the folder which can be up to 40 gigs, right? It's going to be quite large. I'm going to put it into that particular folder. I'm going to put it in an SSD, so if that's available for you, they're much quicker than a standard magnetic drive, and for virtualization, it comes in handy. So this is why we're downloading an ISO. What an ISO is, it's a file. It's an actual file that acts like it's a CD or a DVD. Okay. So I'm going to select Install Operating System from bootable CD or DVD-ROM, but I'm going to do image file instead. I'm going to browse to where I downloaded that file, okay? And I've got heaps and a lot of different files. Hopefully you're a bit more organized than I am. And I'll go to my, I think I've got it here. I think this should be it. And then I'm going to go to next, and I'm done. I've set the environment up for us. So now that I've got that up and running, you'll notice that Windows 2016, it's in an off state. We're going to re-enable. We're going to enable this. We're going to connect to it first, and then we'll run it. Okay, so I've connected to it first. I'll just make this, I'll start it. Now you have to be quick here. You have to type, you have to tap on something, like a key, very quickly. Just tapping away here. There we go. That was good. Sometimes it bypasses and it says it can't find anything, so we're in the right area. And I just realized I chose the wrong ISO. This one is going to be a Windows 10 machine. No matter. I'm going. Let's just continue on with this because I wanted to install Windows 10 anyway. We'll finish this and we'll go back to Windows 16. It's really easy. No big deal. We'll just have to change the name a little bit later on here, but it will work still fine. I just want to get some virtual machines up and running and show you how to do that. Go to custom install and we'll just click next, and this is as far as I wanted to show you how to do this. Let's do this properly now. We'll get the Windows 2016 machine up and running. Again, same thing, exactly the same thing, nothing different, except I'm going to store the virtual machine in a different location, same as what we did before. Actually, we want to, it's up to you where you want to put it. Go to next, generation 1. We want 4 gigs of RAM. I'm going to put on the same LAN private, so at least that this Windows 2016 machine will be on the same network as the Windows 10 machine. We want them to be on the same virtual network. And 40 gigs of RAM. Sorry, 40 gigs of hard drive space, and I want to put it on that location where I had that as before, mock lab. And now this time we'll choose the right ISO. I hope. I'm just struggling to find it there, but there it is. By the way, with ISO, if you can try and download the data center evaluation, data center has more features that might come in handy later on in your studies. So go to next, finish. By the way, in the background, Windows 2016 is still installing, as you can see there, still going. I don't think we can change the name while it's running. We'll try, see what happens. Windows 10. Yeah, that's good. We can do that. That's pretty handy. So now we'll connect to Windows 2016. We'll start it. And it looks a little different, slightly different, not a huge difference between Windows 2010 and 2016 in terms of how we install it. With the language to install, with the time and currency, I'd recommend you go to Australia because like for example, our date system, we put the day and then the month, whereas the Americans put the month and the day, and that kind of can mess us around. Time and date is actually very, very, very important in the network environment, Active Directory. We base a lot of things on time and date. Now, this is you need to be aware. There are different versions of Windows 2016. First of all, we want the Data Center Edition. It has more features, but we don't want to select the first one because not yet, because that's going to give us a command line interface. It's not going to have any, or not much graphical user interface, because we're still learning. We're still getting used to this. We want the desktop experience. So we want the data center evaluation. We want the desktop experience. Most people just choose the first thing. Why Microsoft does that, I'm actually not sure. Maybe they want us to go into the non-graphical interface and get us used to that, because it's very powerful, but we want the desktop experience. Click on next. We'll accept it. We'll, as usual, we'll never read the terms and conditions, but we'll accept them anyway. And then we'll go to next, custom install, and then next, and then that's pretty much it. these will go into their usual installation, etc., etc. But we're going to leave it there. So this is what I wanted to show you in this lesson. The Windows 10 machine is still going on in the background, but that's it for now. You now know enough to download and set up Hyper-V Manager, download the ISOs, install them in Hyper-V. The next lesson, we're actually going to start out the course officially. We'll do Module 1, and which is a lot of fun, and I can't wait to teach it. So until then, I hope that this has been very has been very beneficial. And if again any questions, please let me know. Contact me, and I'll be delighted to respond to anyone. So thank you very much for viewing, and looking forward to seeing you all shortly.